Hi, I'm Wendy Lathrop here for GeoLearn. I'm doing another of my sessions on the National Flood Insurance Program. In the alphabetical list, this would be T for technical guidance, basically finding your way through the National Flood Insurance Program through some of the technical guidance documents that are available. It's more than just the regulations that are associated with the program, but we'll be looking at much more to help us in our floodplain design and in making sure that our communities are safe from disasters. Starting out with a definition or a little explanation of what the National Flood Insurance Program is. Basically, the definition from the enabling legislation passed by Congress in 1968 for the National Flood Insurance Act is that this is a program that is supposed to be consistent throughout the country to identify sound floodplain management, to reduce losses from flood damages and encourage preventive and protective measures. Now you notice that it says to reduce flood damages and not to eliminate them, because elimination is not possible. Nature is constantly changing, and we constantly affect the way that we interact with nature by building more into it. So this is a consistent program throughout the country, set by regulations that were established by the agency created by Congress, but this is the enabling law, 4001. So we start with two pieces of the National Flood Insurance Program. We have the statutes passed by Congress, and then we have the regulations and rules that were passed by the organization or the agency that was vested with the responsibility for actually running the National Flood Insurance Program. With the program itself, we have the 1968 creation of the entire program, which basically said that we're going to try to find a way to make floodplains more livable and to create a program of national flood insurance available to the public at large. Then in 1973, we had the Flood Disaster Protection Act enabled by Congress that said we need to make sure that there's a link between the insurance and the mapping, and that when there is an area that's identified on the mapping as being flood prone or subject to the 1% annual chance flooding event, those areas that have buildings in them, those buildings have to be covered by flood insurance. If they're not covered by flood insurance, they're not necessarily eligible for disaster assistance. Now, the whole reason for the National Flood Insurance Program is before that, there was not any real way for people to recover from flooding disasters. There had been very little flood coverage available since about the 1920s, when the insurance companies realized that the whole idea of insuring something that they're always going to lose money on wasn't good for their business. Basically, the idea of insurance is the insurance company bets that something is not going to happen, and the policyholder is betting that something is going to happen and therefore pays premiums to have that covered. When the insurance companies realized they were losing this bet on a fairly regular basis, they made it less available and no longer part of homeowners' policies or renters' policies.